Hello 11 Arts. Let us proceed with our chapter 3. I have already started and telling about the Gupta Empire. We are doing the comparison between the European empires and the Indian empires. So far we have done the comparison between the Macedonian Empire in Europe and the Mauryan Empire in India. Today, I am going to proceed with the comparison between the Gupta Empire in India and the Roman Empire in Europe. Now, as for the Gupta Empire, the founder of the Gupta Empire was Sri Gupta, and then the first 5 Gupta emperors, Chandragupta first, who is actually known to be the beginner of the Gupta era. Then his son Samudragupta, who was the most outstanding Gupta emperor. He is also known as the Indian Napoleon for his extraordinary military skills. He was a great general, not only a great general, he was a learned person. He was a patron of music. We learn about his musical fascination by observing the coins minted during his time. It is seen that Samudragupta is playing a musical instrument. On the coins issued by him, there are his images imprinted which show us that he is playing some kind of musical instrument, basically veena. And then comes now we learn about Samudragupta's conquests from his from the eulogy written or composed by his court poet Hari Sena, which is actually the Allahabad pillar inscription, and it is said over there that he had followed the policy of imperialism. That means policy of expanding the empire or kingdom by the means of wars and conquests. So he had defeated and conquered 9 kingdoms of northern India, conquered the forest kingdoms of central India, and in the southern India he had adopted a unique method. He had defeated the kings of the Deccan and the southern part of our country, but he had realized that from Magad it was quite difficult to govern the southern part of the kingdom. That is why he adopted the policy of Grahan Moksha Adhigrahan. That means he conquered them, he acquired them, and then again he reappointed the kings of that particular kingdom as his general or as his representative. That means the kings were returned their kingdom in place of paying him an annual tribute. They accepted Samudragupta's superiority and authority over them, and they retained their independence, but they agreed that every year they will be paying a certain amount of annual tax to Samudragupta, and they will be ruling their territories in his name. So that was his policy. His fame as a conqueror had reached far and wide. That means outside the boundaries of India also, and the neighboring kingdoms, they had also accepted his friendship and his they have accepted his mastery in military conquests. And then after he had defeated almost all the kings of India, he had performed the Ashwamedh Yagya, that is the horse sacrifice. And then I have already told about his musical fascination in music playing his musical instruments. And then he was succeeded by the third important Gupta ruler, that is Chandragupta the second, or Chandragupta Vikramaditya. He was also a very accomplished military general who had successfully defeated the Shakas of western part of our country, and he had assumed the title Shakari. Shak means the tribe, the Shak tribe, and Ari in Sanskrit is the enemy. So Shakari basically means enemy of the Shakas. And then Chandragupta II, or Chandragupta Vikramaditya, was succeeded by his son Kumar Gupta, and the last great Gupta ruler which we come to know is Skanda Gupta. Skanda Gupta had ruled at least 50 years, and he was successful in defeating the Hun invasion, and it was due to his crushing defeat to the Huns that they did not turn towards India for next 50 years. That is why Skandagupta is also known as the savior of India. And then after Skandagupta, the Gupta rule started to decline, and there were several reasons for the decline of the Gupta empire. There, amongst them, the weak and incompetent, incapable rulers, they could not keep hold on their empire, and the repeated invasions of the Huns, and then there was internal conflict. There were internal strifes or conflicts going on in the royal family as to who will acquire the power, who will be sitting on the throne, who will be the ruler. And then this situation gave rise to the feudal lords, the authority of the feudal lords. Due to the weakness in the central government, the authority of the feudal lords in the different parts of the empire started to increase, and they in course of time started to establish their own independent kingdoms. So there was also the weakness was also due to the lack of the permanent army. So Gupta Empire, the Gupta emperors did not have any permanent army of their own. So there was the lack of army, which which acted as negative tenets for the Gupta emperors, later Gupta emperors, who were not so strong to keep their hold on the entire empire, the feudatories and all. So the lack of army caused them the loss of their kingdom or empire. So, and obviously the financial weakness grew because of the continuous Hun attacks. So all these reasons together caused the fall of the mighty Gupta Empire. Now we move on towards the Roman Empire in Europe. Now Roman Empire is said to be founded in the land of Latium on the banks of river Tiber in 753 BC, and its capital was set up in the city of Rome, which had witnessed both republican and autocratic form of government. Now, Republic of Rome had fought the Punic Wars with Carthage. We have learnt about Carthage. It was one of the important Greek city polis, and it had a long drawn war with Rome, which was known as the Punic Wars. And after the Republican government in Rome, there were different situations that had arisen, and ultimately there were several kinds of class conflicts, then conflicts between the rival dictators, there were wars, there were murders, there were civil war kind of situation. Amongst all these situations, the most important event that attract our attention, that is the slave revolt of 73 BC under the leadership of Spartacus. The slave revolt under the leadership of Spartacus is also known as the Great Slave Revolt in Rome. And then during the 1st century BC, the control of the Roman Empire was handed over jointly to two people. Not two people, the three people, three great generals of Rome. They were handed over the authority to rule the territory. They were Julius Caesar, Pompey the Great, and Marcus Crassus. And out of these three, Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great have become the two great rivals to each other. And then the Roman Civil War had begun against Pompey the Great under the leadership of Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar was successful in defeating Pompey in a battle, and he had become the consul. That means he had taken up the responsibility to rule Roman Empire on his own. Later he became the dictator for 10 years in the beginning, and then after a few years, then he assumed the title of dictator of Rome for the lifetime. Now Julius Caesar was an able general. He had fought many battles and earned fame for the Roman Empire, and he had defeated Ptolemy the 13th of Egypt in the Battle of Nile. And he had also won the Battle of Zilla and conquered the area of Asia Minor. And his famous saying was Veni Vidi Vici. That means I came, I saw, and I conquered. So this is a very important quotation. Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, and I conquered. Said by whom? Said by the great Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. And because of his fame, because of his popularity, the other generals became jealous against Julius Caesar, and they had conspired against him, and ultimately he was murdered by them in 44 BC. These conspirators included his own friends, the best friends, Brutus and Cassius. Brutus was his best friend. And after Julius Caesar, Rome had gone under the control of his grand nephew Octavian, and another general Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus. Amongst these three, again Marcus Lepidus had lost his importance in course of time. It was Octavian and Mark Antony, the rivalry between Octavian and Mark Antony. Now, when we will be learning about Cleopatra, then we will again learn about Octavian Caesar and Mark Antony. But right now, Octavian Caesar, he eliminated Mark Antony again in a civil war, and he assumed the title Augustus Caesar, and preferred himself as the princeps, that means the first citizen of the state, and that is why this rule of Octavian Caesar or Augustus Caesar and his successors in Rome is known as the Principate. He called himself the Princeps, that means the first citizen of the state, and his rule and his successors' rule was known as Principate. And then he extended the Roman Empire in Western Asia and North Africa, and he after Octavian Caesar, his successors had ruled the Roman Empire, among whom Constantine first was the most outstanding one, who had transferred the capital from Rome to Byzantium in the east, later on which came to be known as Constantinople. Right now it is the city of Istanbul, and this now the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Now Constantine had shifted his capital long before Constantine. When the Western Roman Empire had fallen down, the Roman Empire was divided into two parts actually long before Constantine, and it was rule of the Rome and Byzantium. The eastern part of the Roman Empire came to be known as the Byzantine Empire, and the Western Roman Empire with the capital at Rome had at last fallen down in 476 AD, when the last Roman emperor Romulus Augustulus was defeated by a Goth leader known as Odoacer. And why did the Roman Empire, or rather the Western Roman Empire, decline? For that, there are several reasons. The imperialistic nature of the empire, which led to the growth of slavery, because the war prisoners were mostly made slaves, and they were treated very inhuman way. That is why time to time there were slave revolts, frequent slave revolts in the Roman Empire. Then the taxation policy was not equal, unequal taxation policies was there, and then the pressure of population on the limited amount of land. The population increased but land was limited, so there was scarcity of food, and then there were disastrous bubonic plague hit at the parts of Italy, which led to the depopulation, and frequent barbarian attacks were there. Always the barbarians had aimed their attack upon the city of Rome, which was famous as the rich and prosperous city. So the barbarians had always targeted the city of Rome for their attack. So frequent barbarian attacks was also a reason for the downfall of the Western Roman Empire, and obviously the rulers were, the later Roman emperors were all weak and incapable. So today I am ending the class over here. Next day we will move on towards the comparison between these two empires.